In the oil and gas sector, risk is never theoretical. It's often complex, it has environmental risks, and it has a lot of extreme consequences in the future. Managing risks here isn't just about preparedness. It's not about protection only. It's about resilience. It's about creating value in the longer term. So, welcome to the Risk Review Series, episode 3, where we explore the most complex and high-stakes sector, oil, gas, and petrochemical risks. I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Venu Matoory, leader, oil, gas, and petrochemical risks at Gallagher in India. Thank you, Venu, for joining us today for this episode.
Thank you so much.
I would want to understand, Venu, in a sector where cost of failure is extremely high. How does Gallagher redefine risk management to not only mitigate the losses, but also create opportunities for mitigating the losses in the future? And what are we looking at for innovation and growth?
See, greenfield projects in oil and gas sector, they need extensive investment. And it's upfront investment. And it's required over extensive periods. And, the first production may come after 7 to 8 years, maybe 10 years. So till that time, that investment is at risk. And in oil and gas sector, during the initial phase of the project is where the risk exposure is maximum. You're drilling a well in 4 or 5 kilometers into the earth, deep, and you don't know what's there.
Correct.
The first time well you're drilling, you don't know what's there. So the first well is called an exploratory well. You're exploring, and the risk is the maximum. Similarly, if you are installing, you've found oil and gas, and now you want to produce oil and gas. So you need to put the installation, install the production infrastructure in place. And most of the time, these places where they install, they're very harsh environments. It's in the middle of the sea. The weather is not suitable. The terrain is not suitable. So the risk exposure is the maximum when they're installing this equipment there. So basically, the oil and gas player is taking a huge risk in the very initial phase of the project.
Correct.
And Gallagher, with his vast experience and network of people, can handhold such clients who are in the face of such huge exposure at the very initial stage of their projects.
I think it's the enablement of, the strategic risk identification is where the whole game changes.
Right.
So as the Indian oil and gas landscape continues to evolve, what bold strategies has Gallagher employed to not just keep pace, but to drive transformative change in this sector?
So over the past few years, we have seen that there are a lot of new players who have entered this segment. And that's because the government is encouraging them to enter this segment. India needs to produce its own oil and gas. Gallagher has been at the forefront, apprising these new entrants on the kind of risk that they're facing and what kind of coverage they should take. At the same time, we have seen that because there's so much of interest coming into this oil and gas space, Indian insurers also want to enter this niche segment.
Okay.
And Gallagher has partnered with such insurers who are interested in this space to help them develop the knowledge, develop the capacity that is required to service these kind of new players in the oil and gas sector.
What kind of capacities would you want to explore a little further and deep dive into it?
It could be huge. I don't know. At one location, it could be $1,000 million kind of exposure could be there, and one big loss can surely destroy the whole thing.
And we are very strong in the energy and power practice, right? How does Gallagher integrate global energy and power insights to deliver tailored solutions for Indian energy stakeholders?
So, as I said, Indian energy players are just starting. Global energy players are already huge. They are already, at a different stage of their life cycle. But Indian energy players have just started. And during those initial phase, as I said, the risk exposure is the maximum, but then the scale of operations is very small. Yeah. Their insurance budgets are so small that they are not able to buy adequate. That's a challenge. They're buying adequate coverage. All the European reinsurers are bound by strict ESG targets. They are reducing their capacity. Their requirements are become more stringent. And at the same time, in the Indian market, the landscape is evolving. The regulatory landscape is evolving. There's a requirement that premium should be retained within India for an extended period. Now, these kind of challenges has made it very complicated for the new ENP players to buy insurance. And Gallagher, with its vast network of people, expertise, experience, has the capability to bring innovative solutions to tide over these issues.
Okay, interesting. With emerging risks such as cyber vulnerabilities, environmental hazards, and changing conditions, the whole global warming that we talk about, what do you think, how is Gallagher preparing clients to navigate these complex and interconnected risks effectively?
See, basically, the traditional cyber solutions leave many gaps for oil and gas players. What we are trying to do is that fit the standard solutions for somebody who is in a difficult environment. For example, if there's a physical loss or damage triggered by a cyber peril, there is no coverage in the standard cyber solution. Neither it has been properly addressed in the traditional physical damage coverage.
Correct.
Same goes for business interruption triggered by a cyber peril. Now, Gallagher has endeavored to bring tailor-made solutions. We have launched a cyber gap insurance recently to address these gaps for oil and gas players, to address the gaps that they are facing in coverage.
Would you want to highlight a little bit further on that?
As I said, if there's huge automation, so especially in the refining sector, there's huge automation in the plant and machinery. Now, if there is some kind of a cyber attack, and there is because of that there's a damage to the machinery or equipment, there's no coverage.
Hey.
So cyber gap will address these kind of issues, and we need to really look at, when we look at the clients, we look at what is their exposure, what are the coverage they already have, and what are the gaps. And these are tailor-made solutions. These are not standard solutions off the shelf.
Yeah.
So we tailor-made those solutions for the clients.
Correct. I think customization is the key. And personalizing their issues. Definitely. And then giving them the solutions makes all the efforts worth it. Thank you so much, Venu. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. That's it for the Oil, Gas and Petrochem Risk Review series. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.